It's dark outside, but it's light in here. Chanukah, Chanukah is here.
Sameach. It is such a special zechus to have the opportunity to share the Divrei Torah for our yeshiva, Yeshivat Sha'alvim, a yeshiva which had such a profound impact on my life. Rabbeim who have remained my Rabbeim for so many years later. I'm truly grateful to be part of this beautiful project. Yosef HaTzadik, who we read about throughout the month of Kislev, is the quintessential Jew in Galus. The Jew who, like his father Yaakov Avinu, learns not only how to survive outside the spiritual oasis of Eretz Yisrael, but how to thrive there. And the turning point in Yosef's life in Egypt, and really probably in his entire life, is the moment of his greatest test. Yosef has been successful in the home of Potiphar, and then Potiphar's wife comes after him. And Yosef is all alone, abandoned by his family, and he's torn about what to do. And says the Gemara in Sota, Daf Lamed Vav Beis, Ba'osa Shah. At that moment, Dikyuno Sha'aviv v'nirasa lo bechalon. The father, his father's face, the face of Yaakov Avinu, he saw it in a window. Amalo. Yaakov said to him, Yosef, Asidin achicha, Asidin achecha shikasiv al avnei ephod v'ata b'neihem. In the future, your brothers' names will be on the 12 stones of the Choshen, and your name will be there too. Ritzoncha shimacha shimcha mi b'neihem. You want your name to be erased? And at that moment, says the Gemara, Yosef has an awakening. It's all he needs to hear. And he flees, saving himself from denigrating himself. And while he ends up being thrown in jail in the short term, Yosef has solidified himself as a spiritual giant and a leader of Am Yisrael going forward. He knows who he is, he knows what his values are, and he's empowered to move forward no matter his surroundings. But there's one element of this Gemara that is strange. Why does Yosef have to see his father's face in the window? Could have seen his face on the wall. His face wasn't really there. Rabbi Moshe Einstadter, very special Talmud Chacham, offers a beautiful explanation. What's the difference between a room with a window and one without a window? A room is a closed and limited environment. The four walls, the ceiling, are the extent of what we see. Without a window, the world beyond the room doesn't really seem to exist. And when does that change? When a room has a window. A window in a room affords us the opportunity to see what is beyond the four walls. They offer us an opportunity to see into the distance, beyond where we are presently and into the future. A window reminds us that we need not be confined by our current circumstances, and that we can step out beyond where we are to find something more. Why does Yosef see his father's face in the window? Because at that moment that Yosef was able to remind himself that there was so much more out there for him, beyond what was there at that moment. He could be more than this. He was destined for greatness. If only he could see it. And when he has that realization, he found the courage to live up to who he wanted to be. And that, of course, is the story of Chanukah. The story of a group of Jews who refused to see themselves only for what was in front of them now. Rather, they were able to see who they could be, to see a life as so much more for themselves and for their entire community. And perhaps this is also why we focus so much more on the miracle of the oil on Chanukah than on the really tremendous miracle of the war. Am Yisrael, as we know, could have easily lit the menorah with the Tomei oil, Tumah Tzibur. It was permissible. But that's not what they wanted. If they were going to go through the Chanukah HaMizbeach, a return to the Avod in the Beis HaMikdash, they didn't want to settle for what was okay, what was permissible. They dreamt for more. They dreamt for Kedusha. And so in return, says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you were unwilling to settle for your current circumstances and want to strive for more. I'll meet you halfway, even more than halfway. And it also isn't surprising that of all the places we lit our menorah, says the Shulchan Aruch, The optimal place is by the entrance to the home or by the chalon, by the window. The place that reminds us never to settle for the circumstance currently in front of us, but to always be looking forward. We should always be searching for more.